Hi, everyone. Okay. Okay, and here we have the Page of Pentacles. And look at there's, I think it's an owl, but there's a bird of prey. So whenever I see like owls or falcons or any of those types of um, they they're very far seeing, right? Um, they get a very high vantage point and look very far ahead and see the big picture, right? So And now the Pentacle cards, they tend to be slow and they do tend to look very far ahead in the future and then methodically work towards those goals. You know, the Pentacles card, these are the type of people that start saving for a house in high school. You know what I mean? Like they always have a job. They seem to like work while they're going through school and save their money and know that if they just put it a little bit away at a time, they are able to delay instant gratification and know that their hard work will eventually pay off. So the page brings about new beginnings or messages about work, health, family, home, things like that, even spirituality. This is the work category. So there may be an offer coming to you. And what I'm seeing so far with the two cards that have come out is maybe you have the skills and the ability, but maybe there's a little bit of when you finally actually get an offer to step up into some sort of new position with more responsibility, there can be a little bit of oh, can I really do this? You know, that type of feeling, but feel confident in your abilities. Yeah, and it's like, so here we have the Seven of Cups. It's like you have this offer, but then you're sort of have this moment of, well, should I do that or should I do that? Like maybe you have more than one offer or more options, or you're trying to figure out where to go from here. Pages are new beginnings too. You're like, okay, I know I need to branch out. I know I have all this to offer, but you're having trouble picking one and committing to it. This is sort of a daydreamy card, a wishful card, but it's a little bit having trouble choosing. Like I'm having trouble choosing my words. Oh, in the world. Yeah, there's going to be some sort of a completion. And whether this is on an internal level or you physically move and leave and get a new job, it can play out in a couple ways. It can be an internal realization that you need to move on to something else. You need to wrap up what you're doing and you need to move on into a new phase where your career is concerned. Or it can literally be you actually getting the new job. You know, it could either be the thought process where you make the sort of decision, but then you have to bring it into reality, or the actual reality that you're finishing a job and moving on to something else. And it's a positive thing because the world comes up when things have come full circle, when you've completed one sort of, say, it'll be easiest to give an example because I seem to be stammering this morning. You know, you graduate from college. So you've completed college. It's a wonderful accomplishment. It's great. But at the same time, what are you going to do now? You know, it's a new beginning. So it's ripe with opportunities. There's also a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of this Seven of Cups. Well, what exactly do I want to do? Where exactly do I want to go? Is this really what I want? Do I really want to commit to this? That type of energy. Overall, like I call things like this like happy problems. Like, you know what I mean? Like a little bit unsure which opportunity to take or where to go, but you have lots of opportunities and your hard work that you've been methodically putting into your career all these years or in school to get a career or whatever, all the daydreaming and planning that you have been doing it, because this is an important part of creativity and planning, right, is going to pay off. Things are going to come full circle. Beautiful. I love this card. Let's move on to relationships. Uh-oh. No. Oh, shit. You're screwed. Stop watching the video. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I don't usually swear. Sorry. Actually, I swear like it's really funny. Sometimes I feel like I'm being fake just because I try not to be, I don't want to offend anyone. Like, the point of these tarot readings are, I want to be inspiring and helpful. And I think I obsessively read tarot cards because I feel like I struggle with all these things I talk about so much. I think if I just immerse myself in it, hopefully some of the lessons will sink in. So don't think like I feel like I'm some spiritual master, because I feel like I'm the exact opposite. I just like hope I can, like, if I repeat it enough, that maybe some of it will sink into me. But I'm actually kind of I swear a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna say I swear a lot. I do. But anyway, moving on. 9 of Swords. This is the card, and this happened to me the other night, and I tried so hard to be zen, and I feel much better about it now. But there's something happening at work that I'm being moved. I'll just say it. It's not a big deal because I don't sit with the rest of the people who do my job. I sit over with the doctors I work for. And I've been there for 5.5 years. And it's not that I have an issue moving to the office with the other people, because whatever, they're fine people. I don't have a problem with that, but I feel like I'm being ripped away from my family of 5.5 years. My very best friend sits near me, and she makes going to work every day a joy. You know, that's like my shining ray of sunshine is joking with her and enjoying the day with her and laughing. We laugh a lot. And anyway, so I had one of these 9 of Swords nights the other night where I'm just up. I was sad. I was worrying. I was upset. You know, things feel out of my control. And I knew I would get through it. So I was up, but I wasn't like, I was going to start crying. But then I was like, no, you know, I was just like, okay, you know, here's one of those moments where I can bitch about it. Look at me, I'm swearing more. Bitch about it and complain about it and have a big fit about it. But then I started to think about it, and it's like, you know what? I'm still going to be over there. We don't talk all that much. It's not like I sit there talking to her all day long. Half the time there are people in between us and clinics going on. And so it's not like I'm, you know, talk to her constantly, and I can still call or email her now and again. And I'll be over there because I have to go and see patients over there at certain times. And, you know, it's like, and a change of scenery might be nice. And, you know, I started to just sort of, it's okay. Like, I'll be fine wherever I am. I'm a happy, good person, everything. And I just sort of kind of talked my way through it. And it's like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, it is what it is, and it's okay, and it's not ideal, but it's not really a big thing. So I sort of talked myself down. And so I guess kind of looking at the big picture, trying to I'm such a Vermonter, to put it in perspective and kind of be like that bird in the work category and look at the overall, look far ahead, look for positives. You know, I have a shorter walk to get from the parking lot to my desk. You know, I'll get to, like, we've had a new boss. She really doesn't know me. She'll really get to see who I am, and that I'm like a funny person, I think. I don't think I'm like funny, but like I'm happy. Like I like to like just I just smile a lot. Like I try to make the best out of my work day. I try not to, you know, I try to have fun. So I think I can potentially bring some, fun into the office and, whatever. You can choose to focus on what you want when this card comes up. So in the relation, God, I've gone off on a big tangent. Sorry. When you have these times of worry and insomnia, sometimes you can talk yourself down. Oh, this just came up for someone else. So this is, especially in this deck, I have certain decks where I read the cards a little differently. I mean, if you look at this, there is literally a line drawn in the sand, right? But what's interesting is these two people are actually on the same side of the line. So, as I said in the other video, this is in a relationship category part of the reading. If you at all think you're in an abusive situation, get out. I don't care. There's no compromising. There's no nothing. You need to get out, period. That's a rule. That's Jen's rule. I think that's everyone's rule. You need to get out. Now, if you're just having conflict with your partner, try to find some ways to compromise. That's really what you guys are both on the same side so if you think there's a line drawn in the sand, you're actually both on the same side. So maybe if you can sort of look at the big picture, and maybe you'll notice you both do want the same end goal, and that you actually are working toward the same thing. You just may have different ideas, and see if there are ways you can compromise. Sometimes I think we get stuck on being right instead of being successful. And, you're right. Your partner should call if he's going to be half an hour late. You're right. I mean, they should. But perhaps instead of going, here, I'm going to swear again, you asshole, you should have called me, right? You could be like, when you're late, maybe you could explain, like, I had dinner ready. I'd really appreciate it if you could call me. And I know after you've been with someone for like 10 years, you're like, they should know better, and they should. I'm single, so. But you see where I'm going. Maybe try to look for ways to compromise and give a little. And then I love this because these look like similar cards to someone else. Here, there's kind of like distance. But then look, in this Chariot card in this deck, they're together and working towards that common goal. And maybe even your children are dividing you somehow. But they're able to come together, and resolve their differences for the common goal. And that's what the Chariot's about. The Chariot is about action and not reaction. So going, you asshole, you should have called me and told me you're going to be a half hour late. Dinner's cold. Thanks. I could have been doing something for the last half an hour. Do you ever think about me? Trying to say, hey, we need a plan for better communication, because I know you're sick of me snapping at you, and I'm sick of you not thinking about my time, or probably could be said much nicer than that. But we want to have our goals. We want to have better communication and more productive and less critical and negative communication. How can we make a plan for that? And then this card is about action. Purposeful action that you guys figure out together instead of just feeling alone and snapping and pointing out each other's issues. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. So that's interesting. This came up in the work category as well. So this energy is very important this month for you. And again, this is planting the seeds, new beginnings, messages about home, health, work, spirituality, starting to plant the seeds for things that may not come to fruition for a while, but beginning. So I think it calls for some patience, because just because you go from the Five of Swords to the Chariot here, working together, it doesn't mean it's just going to start. You guys are going to start getting along, because that's just not human nature, right? It's going to take patience and effort and just continual work to bring about this change that you're consciously making. But going from the Five of Swords to the Chariot and then the Page of Pentacles, you're not going to be alone, worrying, struggling, trying to figure out solutions all alone. You're coming together. And then look at how you feel once you guys are all working together. Then you're happy alone. You're working towards something. You're being productive, and it makes you feel much better. And you have this little gnome. I mean, how cool is that? So going through this type of process is going to be fruitful, right? And sometimes, you have to have these conversations. I've said this recently, it seems like quite a bit, but sometimes you have to be willing to risk losing a relationship to have that hard conversation if it's ever going to get better. And if it's not, and these types of conversations do end up ruining the relationship, having these hard conversations, I guess you kind of have your answer, that maybe the foundation was not that stable, and then you can move on to a relationship where you're working together. For single people, I would say really getting clear on what you can and can't compromise, and making sure you're not drawing lines in the sand that are preventing you from being with anyone, but knowing where the hard stop is also. Okay, so let's pick an Earth Magic Oracle card. Just because my videos can be over 15 minutes now doesn't mean I need to yammer on forever. And we got River, which is movement. So this kind of relates back to the Page of Pentacles, that slow, steady movement. Just slowly making your way forward. And if you're, say you're in like a kayak or a canoe going down a river, while you're, like a normal, slower moving river, not a rapids or anything, you're just paddling along. It doesn't feel like you're going super fast or making tons of headway, but it's just sort of that slow and steady wins the race. Eventually, you'll realize how far you've come and that things are moving forward.